Can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel in partnership with sharpbetting.co.uk, your home of betting tips and analysis. Please do click the link in the description of this video to find out a bit more to direct you to sharpbetting.co.uk. They have a lot of betting tips and analysis on boxing, which is why we're here. And we're talking about one of the huge fights on Saturday, May 2nd at Times Square in New York City. Ryan Garcia back in action for the first time since that Devin Haney fight, and he's fighting Rolly Romero. I say a former world champion in Rolly Romero, it kind of makes me smile a little bit. But anyway, yes, this is the fight. Welterweight contest. Elliot, going to come on to a couple of talking points in a second, but first and foremost, as always, please do give me your thoughts and your predictions on this fight.
Yeah, you know what? So I was speaking to you before. I think I'm not a big fan of Rolly Romero, I must say. I'm not a big fan of his kind of actions outside the ring, his general kind of sort of bravado and marketing spiel. I think I don't mind the fight though. I don't mind the fight for Ryan Garcia. I feel like it's kind of a credible fight, to be honest with you. Sort of coming back off what happened against Devin Haney. So for me, I still, I suppose there'll be questions around Garcia, obviously, given that was, sometimes has a no contest and the way it kind of what happened after that fight as well. They'll sort of follow him, I suppose, for a little while. But for me, I see this as being a fairly comfortable Ryan Garcia win. I really do. I think Rolly Romero is one of those guys. He's got him with sort of good names. And obviously, that Anthony Yigit fight, that was a good win. To be fair to him as well. But I feel like when he sort of moves up to a certain level of opposition, he's kind of limited in that way, and I feel like he doesn't necessarily have the sort of class or the talent of Ryan Garcia. We've seen that both men have obviously fought Tank. I think I've sort of gushed over Tank many times myself, but I suppose you have to caveat that a little bit with some of the opposition. But obviously, I just feel like wasn't too much to tell. The Garcia one, people say obviously quit against Tank. Probably did to a certain degree, but I still feel like there was sort of more in the tank. Whereas Romero, I feel like gave absolutely everything he had and still went out in 6 rounds, which is commendable from a boxing perspective, but it still kind of shows the level to me. So I think, I think Garcia, I think stoppage. To be perfectly honest with you, I think the speed, the hand speed, the power will be too much for him, and I'm going to go with Ryan Garcia stoppage somewhere around 6-7, somewhere like that. I think.
Yeah, interesting, mate. I agree with you. I think Ryan Garcia wins this. I'm going stoppage as well. Not that I'm not a huge fan of Rolly Romero, I just don't rate him as that highly, as you said, when he has really stepped up. I mean, no disgrace getting stopped by Tank. Everyone gets stopped by Tank. Obviously, you mentioned Ryan Garcia did as well, which is true. That Q word being thrown about of whether he quit or not. I think the weight didn't help Ryan Garcia. Obviously, that was one of the ones where Tank kind of, obviously with Ryan Garcia, I'm saying this being up at welterweight now, he had was not that catch weight of 138 or something or whatever it was. So like, there was Garcia must have been absolutely spent making that. So I don't think that helped. But yeah, and look, Isaac Cruz obviously knocked out Rolly Romero as well. Good big puncher, good fighter. But I think Ryan Garcia is better in my opinion. If Ryan Garcia performs like he did, similarly to like he did against Devin Haney, I think he'll run through Rolly Romero. I see this fight ending in stoppage in favor of King Rye as well. I think. Wow, in terms of rounds, is he going to do it faster than Tank? That'd be a statement, wouldn't it? It would be a bit of a statement. Um, I think he probably could. I'll maybe go round five, round six for Ryan Garcia. I think maybe a similar stoppage duration as to what it took Tank. So I'll go around round five, six, and yeah, hopefully that starts this blockbuster card on May the 2nd, because it's one I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, Ryan Garcia knockout. We're both unanimously agreed. So let's talk a bit more about Ryan Garcia, and this is obviously now the fact that he's up at welterweight. You think he wins a world title at 147, Elliot?
You know what we talked about this obviously in context of other fighters, but I think if you look at like Boots moving up, I think absolutely. I really do. We talked about this in context with Haney and Haney kind of with Haney winning a title up there, and we said yes. I think yeah, I absolutely do. I think Ryan Garcia in many ways has got a much better chance of winning a world title up there than Devin Haney, to be honest with you. I think both would win titles up there, but I feel like Ryan Garcia is just a matter of time. I think he'll adjust the weight a lot better. I look at the guys that are kind of ranked high up, especially if Boots moves up. And I think, yeah, absolutely, he's got the hand speed and the power to kind of translate up at that weight. Wouldn't obviously be as difficult, obviously, as some of the weight struggles that he's seen previously. So, yeah, I absolutely do. I think he's, if he kind of gets a good what you want from Ryan Garcia really is a good like 5 to 10 year run now. I don't you kind of want him to sort of knuckle down, get into these big fights, and really sort of start winning world titles and moving that way, rather than sort of giving it the kind of Instagram chat and all that sort of nonsense, the fast hand speed in the kitchen. I just want him to sort of be in the fights and kind of do that and kind of fulfill his potential. To be honest with you, in that way. So yeah, I do see him winning world title up there. Absolutely. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's a big yes from me as well, mate. I think he wins a world title at welterweight. Agreed. There's a chance he maybe fight Devin Haney before the end of the year for a vacant title or a title of some sorts. I'd back him probably to win that fight, unless he looks horrendous against Rolly Romero. Yeah, and then I kind of look at the other champions as well. Like obviously, Stanley is probably going to hang about there, having just been beaten by Boots. That's a tough fight. Barrios has the other belt, the WBC belt, I believe. I think I would back Ryan Garcia to beat Barrios at this stage. I don't think Barrios has looked amazing in his last few. And yeah, I think that there's a high chance that Ryan Garcia will become world champion at 147 pounds. Mate, I'm in agreement. Just before we round off, we're kind of talking about Garcia here, who we both believe wins this fight against Rolly Romero. Where he's at welterweight now, but he seems like he's packed on the muscle and the mass quite quickly. And he looks like a big lad. He's got a big frame. Well, he's only 26 as well, so likelihood is that he will, welterweight won't be his limit, so to speak. But where is his limit for you, Elliot? Do you see him maybe potentially going up to 154? Could he even win world honors there? Even middleweight, or is that just way too far? What do you reckon?
You feel like tough question because you feel like Owen McKenzie on this video. You feel like you're sort of talking a minute about Ryan Garcia fighting Usyk for all the gold off a heavyweight. But I think he could super welterweight. Yes, obviously, depending on what happens to Terence Crawford as well, how he kind of moves and how he's sort of tied up. Obviously, Fondora's up there. We mentioned, and obviously a very, very big guy. Very talking about big frames. But I think outside of that, there's a chance they could win a world title. Frankly, you look at like someone like Josh Kelly, ranked like top 5 in the division, seemingly. Some bodies you think, would I back Ryan Garcia against Josh Kelly? Absolutely, I would on on a Wasserman card on Friday night in Stoke somewhere. I'd absolutely be backing Ryan Garcia there, 100%. So I think, I think he can win a world title there. When I look up at middleweight, though, I feel like you're talking big frames, but then you're talking like I don't know, you're just talking like I think that might be a bit too big for him. I really do. I think you're looking at guys like obviously Carlos Damas. You're looking at obviously people like even Shearer. Shearer's will move up to be perfectly honest with you, but like Adam Carnulli as well. I just don't. I feel like that may be a bridge too far. The division's not that strong, so maybe if you can get like you've got Lara who's what like 75 now or something. Eubank Jr. is going to move on, so like you've got kind of Bentley's high up in there. For example, would I fancy Ryan Garcia against Denzel Bentley? Would you? I'll put that question to you. Like, where do you fancy to beat someone like that? So potentially, if he can get a kind of decent draw, decent sort of opponent up there, he could maybe win a world title. But I feel like if you're going to get people who are naturally embedded at that weight, who are like say like Alan Carlin, people like that, I think that'll be a bit of a stretch too far. But if you can get a favourable champion or a favourable kind of vacant title shot up there, I think he could definitely do it. Yeah.
Yep, I totally agree with both. And another thing I'll add to what you just said is he is only 26. So like the landscape will be totally different. And say even when he's 32, for example, 6 years time, right? The landscape at 160 is going to look completely different. Could he grow into his frame even more as he gets a little older? Yeah, probably could. So who's to say that we don't have a clue what'll be what the 160-pound middleweight division will be looking like in even 5 years' time. So who's to say Ryan Garcia won't be in it and won't be one of the dominant champions at 160? Who knows? But yeah, I definitely think he could win a world title at 154. I would say that quite confidently right now. First, I suppose he has to win a world title at 147. First, he hasn't actually won one. If you kind of put it that way. So yeah, and interesting. But yeah, I really enjoyed that preview with you, Elliot. As always, guys, let us know in the comments your thoughts on the Garcia Romero fight, who wins and how, and whether or not Ryan Garcia becomes world champion at welter, maybe even super welter, maybe even middle or beyond. Let us know in the comments. And as always, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Elliot, cheers for joining me, and I'll speak to you again soon.